Today, I invite you to embark on a journey into the darkest corners of history, an exploration that challenges everything you think you know about the Vikings. We've all grown up with images of fierce warriors, savage raiders, and brutal conquerors. Movies, books, and documentaries have painted them as relentless destroyers, leaving chaos and destruction in their wake. But what if I told you that beneath this violent exterior lies a story far more disturbing? A story of suffering, silence, and unimaginable cruelty that has been buried for centuries. Most narratives focus on the Vikings' conquests, their ships, their battles, their legendary raids. But the real pain, the silent, hidden suffering of countless innocent victims, has been hidden behind layers of myth and misrepresentation. Today, I want to peel back those layers. I want to reveal the truth about what happened to the women, especially the nuns, the young girls, and helpless victims, during these violent invasions. This is a story of horror so profound that it has been kept in shadows, forgotten by history, until now. This is a story that will shake your beliefs, challenge your perceptions, and make you see the Viking Age in an entirely new light. So, buckle up, because what you're about to hear is not for the faint-hearted, but it is essential to understanding the full scope of history. Let's begin by setting the context. It's the early medieval period, around the 8th and 9th centuries. Europe is a patchwork of kingdoms, tribes, and emerging nations. Christianity is spreading across the continent, and monasteries are the spiritual and intellectual hubs of the time. These monasteries are not just religious centers, they are also repositories of knowledge, education, and art. Imagine these monasteries: stone walls, bell towers ringing, monks and nuns praying, copying manuscripts, and living lives dedicated to faith. They are considered safe havens, places of peace and learning, built on the foundation of divine protection. But beneath this peaceful facade lies a dangerous truth. The Vikings, fierce seafarers from Scandinavia, are rapidly expanding their reach. They are not only explorers, but also raiders. Their ships, long and narrow, designed for stealth and speed, silently approach coastlines under cover of fog. They are masters of surprise attacks, striking suddenly, leaving devastation behind. Many believed these monasteries were invincible, protected by divine power, fortified walls, and the faith of their inhabitants. But Viking ships were faster, more cunning. They could land suddenly, catch their prey unprepared, and unleash chaos. Now picture this: a peaceful dawn, the morning bells ringing, monks in prayer, and suddenly, horns blaring, oars pounding, and chaos erupting. Viking ships breach the shoreline, and within moments, the tranquil monastery turns into a scene of horror. The Vikings are ruthless. They raid with brutal efficiency, destroying everything in their path. Sacred relics are smashed, priceless manuscripts burned, and treasures stolen. But amidst this chaos, the most horrifying aspect is what happens to the women, specifically the nuns and young girls, who are caught in the storm of violence. The Vikings, driven by greed and violence, see these women not just as victims, but as trophies of conquest. They are seized, ripped from their homes, their vows, and their faith. It's not just theft. It's a systematic act of terror meant to humiliate, dehumanize, and conquer. Let's pause here to understand the scale of this violence. These raids weren't isolated incidents. They were brutal campaigns that terrorized entire regions. And the women, especially the nuns, were some of the most vulnerable targets. Now, imagine being a young girl or a nun in that moment. One second, you're in a peaceful place, and the next, your world is shattered. You are forcibly taken, your screams drowned out by the chaos around you. The Vikings' violence was not limited to looting. It was sexual, physical, and psychological. Women and girls were often subjected to unspeakable horrors. Violence so severe that many never recovered from it. They were beaten, raped, and brutalized, used as commodities, symbols of dominance. For the women caught in these raids, their suffering was beyond physical pain. It was psychological torment. Many believed their faith and their very souls were under attack. Their sense of safety, their dignity, and their humanity were stripped away in moments of horror. Most of these women had no way to escape or resist. They were taken as slaves, property to be sold in slave markets across Scandinavia, the Mediterranean, and beyond. Their captors viewed them as prizes, trophies of victory. Their trauma was compounded by the loss of their faith and their community. Once captured, their nightmare continues on the long, treacherous voyage across the sea. They are packed into dark, cramped ships, many barely able to move, their bodies and spirits broken. The voyage is brutal. Cold winds, sickness, hunger, and despair are constant companions. Many women die along the way, victims of starvation, disease, or violence. Those who survive are transported to distant landscapes unfamiliar, where they face further exploitation. Throughout this journey, many women cling to their faith, praying in secret, holding on to memories of their monasteries, their families, and their gods. But the trauma leaves scars that last a lifetime. Their captors see them as commodities, used for labor, for breeding, or as symbols of conquest. Some are sold into slavery in markets far from home, in places they will never see again. Arriving in new lands, Norway, Ireland, the British Isles, or even continental Europe, these women's suffering does not end. They are subjected to forced labor, domestic chores, manual work, and sexual exploitation. Their captors view them as trophies, symbols of their power. Many women are broken physically and emotionally, stripped of their dignity and identity. Some lose all hope, falling into despair. Others silently resist, holding on to their inner faith. The Vikings, notorious for their brutality, often used fear as a weapon, publicly humiliating or punishing those who resisted. Yet, some women found ways to survive, clinging to their inner strength, secretly praying, secretly resisting in the smallest ways possible. The suffering of these women was extensive, but most of their stories were never recorded. Their pain was buried beneath layers of silence, shame, and societal indifference. Many internalized their trauma, despair turning into silent resilience. Some clung to their faith, secretly praying or holding on to memories of their monasteries. Others found small acts of rebellion, smuggling a prayer book, sharing a secret hymn, or comforting each other in darkness. Their stories are almost lost to history, hidden behind the narrative of conquest and glory. But recent archaeological discoveries, oral histories, and scholarly research are beginning to shed light on these suppressed truths. The violence aimed to annihilate their identities, erasing their faith, their culture, and their sense of self. The brutal treatment was designed not just to dominate physically, but to break their spirits completely. Many women lost their faith altogether, scared, battered, and disillusioned. But others clung to their spiritual beliefs in secret, finding inner strength in prayer and hope. The systematic erasure of their stories was a form of cultural violence, aimed at making their suffering invisible, yet their resilience endured beneath the surface, waiting to be uncovered. For centuries, these stories remained buried in silence, hidden behind official histories that celebrated Viking conquest but ignored the suffering of the victims. It wasn't until recent times that scholars, survivors, and descendants began to piece together these hidden narratives. Archaeological finds, such as women's jewelry, writings, and artifacts, help tell the story of silent resistance and enduring resilience. These women's stories are essential, reminding us that history isn't just about kings and battles, it's also about the countless silent victims whose suffering was erased. It's crucial that we remember these women, not just as victims, but as resilient survivors. Their suffering was real, their courage unbreakable. Their stories, long suppressed, deserve acknowledgement. By exposing these hidden truths, we honor their memory and ensure that future generations understand the full scope of the Viking Age, not just its glory, but its horror. This process of uncovering and sharing their stories is vital for justice, empathy, and historical accuracy. Their silent resistance, their inner strength, and their unwavering faith in the face of brutality serve as powerful lessons for us all. History often celebrates the victors, the kings, the warriors, the conquerors, But true history recognizes the silent victims, the women, the children, the innocent, whose voices have been silenced. Let us remember them today. Let us shed light on their suffering and honor their resilience. Their stories remind us of the cruelty mankind is capable of, but also of the incredible strength it takes to survive such horrors. If you believe in uncovering the truth, if you believe in justice and empathy, share this message. Subscribe, spread awareness, and help keep their stories alive. Only by confronting the darkness can we truly appreciate the light of human resilience